Lately, Bitcoin has been pumping like crazy and we see a lot of positive price action unfolding for the Bitcoin chart. But we have to keep in mind that we could potentially see a little bit of a retracement back to lower levels to test it as support. So we need to watch out for this huge potential move for Bitcoin. And it could look a little bit similar like this. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what we can expect for Bitcoin in the coming days and how to prepare for the next Bitcoin move. There's also a lot of interesting data coming in for the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs. There's also a lot of interesting news coming into the market, which I will discuss with you in this video. I will also have a look at the two altcoins BNB and FetchAI, but about that later in the video. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end, don't forget to slap up that like button and let's dive right into the charts. I want to start with this Bitcoin chart with horizontal levels that act as resistance and support. And we can see that we come to the last big resistance for Bitcoin on the chart, and that is confluent with the previous all-time high. So this is the last make or break point for Bitcoin. And of course, we also can see a little bit of a bearish scenario play out, and that we can test lower levels to test it as support. Because when we pumped through this huge resistance area to the top side, it hasn't been tested as support yet. So we could potentially see a throwback to lower levels, and that will be around the $69,500. So this could be the bearish scenario, but of course there's also a bullish scenario. And we already retested this previous resistance around the $71,500, and we tested it as support and it was looking strong because we already see a little bit of a bounce coming in. So we could potentially see a pump from this level, create a new higher high, come back to the retested previous resistance as support, and then we can just aim for exponential move to the top side. So this would be the bullish scenario for Bitcoin. And if we then zoom in to the 1 hour time frame for Bitcoin, we can see this consolidation formation is unfolding. We can see this lower high structure on the top side with multiple touch points as resistance. And on the lower side, we can also see multiple touch points as support. And the price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into this apex. So we will most likely later today see a huge breakout to either the top side or the downside. But I expect that we're going to see a bullish break, because this pattern is a typical continuation pattern and the trend is still up. So I expect that we're going to see a bullish break today and that we're going to see new exponential moves. So this could be a very interesting breakout that we're going to see later today for Bitcoin. And yesterday we had another insane day of the Bitcoin ETFs. We saw a total inflow of $893.3 million, and especially BlackRock was buying like crazy. Just look at how much they were buying. Only the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF was selling for almost $24 million, but that's nothing to worry about, because these are just huge amounts of volume coming into the market. And we are now above the 24 billion in total inflows, so this is insane of course. And the total cumulative inflow is again continuing the spike to the top side, so this is looking insane of course. So let's see if today and tomorrow we can see another huge inflow of Bitcoin for the Bitcoin ETFs, and that will of course pump up the price of Bitcoin even more. And if we then have a quick look at the Ethereum ETFs, we can see a total inflow of $4.4 million. So this is a little bit more bullish than bearish. So this could be the start of a new bullish sentiment for Ethereum. So let's see what today and tomorrow can bring for the Ethereum ETFs. And I've also been discussing this broadening wedge for Bitcoin on the daily time frame with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance and on the lower side as support. And we can see that Bitcoin finally broke out of this huge broadening wedge to the top side. We created a new high, so we broke this downtrend. And now we could potentially see a little bit of a throwback to retest this previous resistance as support. And from there, if the support holds strong, we can aim for higher targets. So this could be a little bit of a bearish retracement back to the $69,000. And this could be confluent with a lot of horizontal levels, which I was talking about earlier in the video. So this could be a little bit of a retracement. And if Bitcoin retraces back to this level, I'm interested in buying more Bitcoin, because if this level holds, it will be a very strong support. And from there we can aim for higher targets. And this could potentially be your last buying opportunity below the $70,000 in the coming months. And yesterday we also had a very interesting news coming in about MicroStrategy again. They announced a 42 billion plan for Bitcoin to purchase in the coming 3 years. So of course this is looking very bullish, and MicroStrategy is not quitting to buy Bitcoin anytime soon. So they plan to raise 42 billion in the coming 3 years to buy more Bitcoin. So they just go all in on Bitcoin, and it doesn't matter for Michael Saylor what the price of Bitcoin is, they just DCA into the market. So if other companies are going to follow their footsteps, it could become very crazy for Bitcoin in the coming years. And also Florida ICE state Bitcoin stockpile for retirees inspired by Trump, and that means that they are going to plan to buy Bitcoin for their treasury. So this could be also having a very bullish effect if a lot of states in the United States are going to buy more Bitcoin for their treasuries. And this would mean another inflow of money in Bitcoin, and this would create a lot of buying pressure again for Bitcoin. So this could also pump up the price of Bitcoin even more. And if you then have a look at this chart where Bitcoin shifted from a huge downtrend into an uptrend, we can see that Bitcoin is now trying to create a new higher high, and this is looking very bullish. So this could mean that this high is now in and that we're coming a little bit lower to create a new higher low. And that could be around this place, because this place is around the previous resistance and these previous highs were formed here. And if we're going to see a little bit of a retracement, we can come back to this level around the $69,000. And this was the level I was been talking about earlier in my video. So from here, we can potentially make a higher low. And this would mean that Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend. But the highs of this huge uptrend for Bitcoin will increase. And these will only get more exponential as we go higher. So I believe if Bitcoin can create a new all-time high and break through this resistance, we can see exponential moves in the coming weeks. And today is Halloween, and we can see that Bitcoin prices around this day of the year are looking very bullish. And let's see if we can see another huge increase, and 2025 might be the year that we come above the $100,000. So this could of course be very bullish. But let's see what we can expect for Bitcoin in the coming days, because this is the highest price Bitcoin has ever been on Halloween. And the month of October is almost over. We only have one day left. And if we zoom out to the monthly chart, we can see this huge green candle is unfolding for October, and this is looking very, very bullish. So we also broke out of this huge consolidation formation, which we were in for 8 months. And we can also see that we broke resistance around this level. We now see a huge breakout. So this is the start of the huge bull run for Bitcoin. But of course, we want to break above this level, and then we can see exponential moves for Bitcoin in the coming months. And I think November and December are also going to be very bullish for Bitcoin. So let's see if we can create more exponential moves to the top side in the coming months. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is the Binancecoin, so BNB. We are now back in this huge horizontal range with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance, and also on the lower side we saw support coming into the market. But we can also see a little bit of an uptrend coming into the market for BNB, and eventually we want to gain this uptrend to the top side and create more bullish momentum. So eventually the price of BNB is getting squeezed into this apex, so we will either see a huge breakout to the top side or a break to the downside, of course, and then we come back to lower side support again. But if we're going to see a break to the top side, we could potentially see a retest of the resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And earlier we saw a huge falling wedge unfolding on the daily time frame. This falling wedge broke to the top side, but the breakout target of the falling wedge hasn't been reached, and that is confluent with the top side of the falling wedge, and that will be around the $710, which is also confluent with the previous all-time high. So in the coming days, BNB is going to see a huge break to either the top side or either the downside. And the next altcoin I want to have a look at is FetchAI. We can see FetchAI has been breaking out of this huge falling wedge formation on the daily time frame, and we saw a bullish break. We retested this previous resistance as support, and we then saw a nice bullish retest to the top side. We created more upside momentum, but now we are seeing a little bit of a grinding price downwards. We broke through this support level again, and now we're coming all the way back to this support level. But we also saw a huge bounce coming in. So let's see if Fetch can come back to this huge resistance to the top side, break it, and then continue the uptrend to the top side, because we're now in a little bit of a downtrend. And of course, we want to see an uptrend for Fetch unfolding in the coming weeks. So this could be a very interesting point for Fetch, that we're going to see trend reversal happening. And we want to see this trend reversal happening, and then we can aim for higher targets. And after breaking out of this huge falling wedge, we still have a breakout target of the top side of this falling wedge, and that will be around to $3.25. So there's still a long road for Fetch to go, but of course this is all in the beginning stages. So let's see if we can create a more of an uptrend for Fetch in the coming days. So please give a like if you find the video useful. Don't forget to follow me on my socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.